Good afternoon, everyone. It is January 9th, 2021. My name is Marlon. Welcome to the Conversation Learning Foundation's live Q&A series. It is my pleasure to be here with you on this beautiful Saturday afternoon, and this is our 11th session. Today, I will be joined by the founder of Conversation, MissyJena. Again, we wouldn't be able to do any of these live sessions without the support of the Canadian Red Cross, so we truly would like to thank them for their support. Now, please welcome MissyJena.
Greetings, Marlon. Hello, everybody. Welcome to 2021.
We are here and we made it. How are you doing this morning, Jena?
I'm doing okay, Marlon. When I think about 2021, I think about all the people who may have had, whether it's a graceful transition to 2021, a bumpy one, or if your family's suffering from grief and loss. And, in my own family, we've lost a family member. So it is tricky times, and just want to acknowledge all the different people who are having to navigate the reality of pandemic and the impact of whatever 2021 is, however 2021 is showing up for you.
Mm-hmm. How was the transition from New Year's Eve to the new year? Was there anything that really you want to focus on that in the new year that you didn't get to focus on in 2020?
I think this was one of the very few New Year's where I sort of checked out at 11:47. That's done. I'm done. 13 minutes left of 2020, and I'm out. I'm going to be back in 2021. I would say that it had a different sort of feeling in that it was quiet. Messages were sent, phone calls were made, but ultimately, we're still here. We're still in this bubble of uncertainty. How was your New Year's, Marlon?
I didn't even make it to midnight, so I didn't even make it till 11:47. So you beat me there.
Okay.
But it was relaxing, and I'm not a big New Year's person as it is anyway. But it was amongst the environment and amongst people in society. It was a different feeling. It was a different sensation. So I think everyone right across the world has experienced something different than they normally would. But we've received a lot of questions, and now that the holidays are over, families are starting to go back into school, back to work. So there's been a lot of questions in regards to how to reestablish hope for 2021. So you ready to go through some questions?
Yeah, and before we do, it's the theme for today's live is Moving On, Welcoming 2021, and just recognizing that 2020 was just last week, and it may not feel entirely different. We're still in that same reality. So I am very excited to go through the questions with you and support the families near and far. So let's get this started, Marlon.
Great. So our first question here, there's a lot we didn't get the chance to do as a family last year. What should we make a priority for 2021?
Priorities and all the things that didn't get to happen for a family. I would say that priorities would probably be different depending on who you are in the family. So from the parent, priorities may look, sound, feel different as well as for the child. So I'd talk to your family about priority. What is priority? What should we be focusing on? What would you like to do? What do you feel sad that you didn't get to do last year? And what do you want to bring into 2021? So really unpacking this and not feeling responsible to understand what, to lead priority from the parent point of view, to engage your child to determine what is a priority for them as well.
Right. So and how can you engage in that conversation? I mean, priority might be a big word for someone smaller and a little younger. So how can you establish that to a 5-year-old?
Okay, so we can think of priority in terms of like everyday activities and routines, like brushing your teeth, eating breakfast. Those are priority sequences and steps. Now, what would be a priority when it came to, say, fun stuff that your family didn't get to do last year? So talking to them about like, what do you want to do? And in what order would you like to do those things? So helping them determine priority and to like draw from our own experiences. Like, Marlon, what would you make? What do you want to make a priority in terms of fun for yourself this year?
For myself, I mean, when we're allowed and when we're able to travel, I have the itch. I like to travel. I like to experience different cultures and going to different places and just being around different people. That would be my priority when we can.
Okay, so if you were a child and you shared with me that you wanted to travel, we know that it's not safe to travel right now. So what can we do before we can start traveling? So what's something closer that you could do that would be fun and would bring some joy into your life? So you mentioned, Marlon, that you like learning about different cultures. You've got the itch. You like to travel. So what else can you do without actually leaving your city?
Right. Yeah. I mean, that's, I think a big one's planning. Planning gets people excited and actually seeing where you'd want to go in the world and planning out, okay, in around this time, the season of the year, I want to go to this place and look at that place and figure out what you could do while you're there and plan and think about all the different things you want to do. And it really gives you the time to make that kind of informed decision almost of if you're making the best of your time.
Great, Marlon. Thank you for sharing that. So as a family, say you've got some kids, you can talk about priorities, like what can we do this year? And because travel is going to be a little bit further away right now, let's design our perfect vacation. Each one of us, design our perfect vacation. What would you like to do when you get there? And just that simple engaging in the discussion and the dialogue around something that excites your family brings a sense of hope and something to look forward to.
Yeah.
So what's the place you go to, Marlon?
Pardon?
What's the place you would go to if you could?
Well, the plan is and was Europe. So Italy and Greece was definitely on the list for last year. Hopefully it's on the list for this year. I mean, it's on the list. If we get to check it off, I don't know, but that is there. How about yourself?
I'm really like giving you a challenge, Marlon. So I'd like you to choose a city. And so parents who are listening, caregivers, you can challenge your own kids. Choose a city in Italy that you'd like to visit. Find a restaurant that you'd like to visit when you're in Italy in that city, and look at the menu and choose something you would order, and then go get the ingredients you need to make that recipe at home so you have that taste of that experience.
That's a good one.
I hope you're somewhat of a good chef.
Yeah, that's interesting because actually I did that besides the actually making the recipe part, but I already looked at the restaurants I'd want to go to, looked at the menus. So that's interesting that you say that. So it's a great idea. It's excited.
Okay, you have some homework before our next live session, and that you're going to share with me what recipe you created this week.
Right. Okay. And what's your priority for this year?
Oh, what is my priority for this year? During a team meeting this week, I was talking to our project manager, Jena, and we were talking about just a simple what's a highlight in your last 24 hours. And she said that she was really enjoying the series she's reading, and she was just so immersed into this the storyline, the characters, and it reminded me how wonderful it is to read, especially read nonfiction. And just by hearing about what got her excited, it reminded me of just how much I love to read. And so I think that I would, while we're in this extended restrictions phase, I'd like to get a book, a nonfiction book that has a great storyline, and spend some time reading.
So it's more reading this year.
More reading as a way to enter into a different reality.
Okay. And are you going to accomplish this goal? Are you going to do this?
Well, then if I've given you homework, the
I
natural
know.
would be by next Saturday, I'm going to show you the book that I'm reading.
Yes. Perfect. Okay, ready for the next question?
Okay, let's go.
With post-secondary now virtual in 2021, our adult kids are back in the household. How should we establish boundaries so everyone remains peaceful?
Okay, so this question, I'm thinking about all the families who've got adult kids at home. How do you establish boundaries? And throws me for a loop a little bit because we're mostly talking about K to 12. So this is a very relevant question. Post-secondary, now virtual, which means like college, university, I imagine, and lots of Wi-Fi use, devices, laptops. How do we establish boundaries so everyone remains peaceful? I think the first step is just understanding schedules, like who's online, who's in meetings when, establishing corners of the home for people to be working from. And the fact that the word peaceful is in the question means that there is an intention to find ways to bring peace. And there have probably been experiences that were very far from peaceful. So maybe some disruption, some conflict. So with your adult kids back in the household, you talk to them, figure out your schedules. If you need to put a sign up that says I'm online right now, please do not disturb, do that. And keep us posted. Let us know how this is working out.
Yeah, I know a couple families who their kids are first year or second year in university. Now they're usually they go away for university, but now it's all being done virtually, so they're at home. And they have younger kids still, like in primary school. So that's it's throwing everyone for a loop because now you have all these extra bodies in the house, more mouths to feed, more.
Right.
So it's almost as if the parents are right back at it again with more children.
Okay. What you shared there, Marlon, brings another level of relevance to this very important question about adult kids, where there also may be elementary or primary or high school kids. So just managing the different education needs for your families, very, very tricky. How our lives got turned upside down. So long and short, talking is key. Establishing boundaries, time boundaries, like I will be live between 9 and 10 a.m. for classes. Just having your calendars up there on the fridge will help bring peace.
Bring peace. And I think we all know the question for this one, but is a family vacation a good idea right now?
Depending on where this question's coming from, this question is from BC, Canada, the general sense is stay local, stay home. Let's bend the curve, flatten the curve. So virtual family vacations can be a good idea. I hesitate to give a yes or no, not knowing the full context of where this question may have come from. But Marlon, I know that there have been some politicians that are getting some news made. So, like, please, people stay safe and do virtual. Be creative. You can still take a vacation. You can have a 1 hour vacation. 1 hour vacation, do no work. Go to the kitchen table, look at pictures from a faraway place. Talk about. Yeah, you're laughing. What's going on?
I'm one of these people. I'm like I said before. Do you travel much, or have you traveled much in the past?
I have. 2012 was the first time I explored Europe and like all the main countries, England, Spain, Italy, France. And then I went back and did the Baltic countries, got to see Russia and all those. So traveling is exciting and fun. And I have 0 travel plans for this year. You asked the question because
Oh, I'm just saying, I just wanted to actually find out from
Okay.
you, actually
Yeah.
enjoy
Yeah.
traveling. Because for me, my perspective, it's almost routine. Each
Yeah.
year
Okay.
you have every winter go somewhere. Summer you usually go away. Spring maybe. Every season there's usually something, and last year was just cut dry. So
Yeah.
this question was actually asked quite often throughout the last few weeks.
Okay.
But it's interesting to know that people are still thinking about it.
Yeah, well, when you provide that context, Marlon, it's like a vacation or booking a holiday is something to look forward to, and it sort of is a marker of like school closing, kids go on holiday, or they go to the cabin, or they go, they get on a plane and go travel. And all of that has been massively disrupted because of the pandemic reality. So I would invite our parents and caregivers to look at the word vacation from a completely different lens. Like, how can you have a vacation without actually booking a trip? What other ways can we have a vacation? Like, what is a vacation?
Mm-hmm.
Why are vacations something we look forward to? Because it's a break from the routine. It's a chance to experience something new or something familiar that's not a part of your everyday. So talk to your kids and like look at the word vacation from a completely different lens, just to help them cope with the fact that you probably won't be able to travel right now.
Yeah, that's a good answer. And also, what about vacations do you like? Is it the fact that you don't have to make your bed if you're staying in a hotel?
Oh, yeah.
Or is it that you don't usually have to cook? Like, I mean, some
Yeah.
people want a vacation for a break from their routine.
Yes, exactly. So
Establishing that new routine.
beautiful, Marlon. Thank you for illustrating like the more minute details about like this, even towels. You don't have to wash your towels. You get fresh towels every day.
Yeah.
Talking to your kids about the vacation. What is it about the vacation that they really like? And then how can you create that at home?
Mm-hmm. That's good.
That's really great.
How can I support my child in setting goals for this?
Supporting your child in setting goals for the year begins with communication. Begins with finding out what matters to your child and helping your child learn what matters to you
Mm-hmm.
about your child. And so setting goals for this year, they could be academic goals, they could be personal goals. So what kind of goals do you want to set with your child? And the child I'm just thinking of the resistance the parent might experience is the child may resist setting goals. They may not understand why they need to set goals, but goals are something we typically work towards that keep us anchored and focused on something greater than the immediate reality. So off the top of my head, like when I was a kid, I'm going to read 10 books this summer.
Yeah.
Do you remember?
How did you stay true to that and commit to that goal as a child?
Okay, so from chart stickers, got a star every time I finished a book.
Encouragement from your parents or a teacher.
Encouragement from the parents, some gentle reminders. It's time to read.
Mm-hmm.
But I was a kid who loved to read, so setting a goal around reading wasn't a big stretch. How about you, Marlon?
For goals this year?
As a kid, can you remember? Mm-hmm.
A lot of my goals were honestly performance based in sports. A lot of that. So it was achieving the next level or getting to making that team. That was a lot of the goals I had to kind of strive for throughout my childhood.
Okay. So there could be athletic goals, there could be academic goals, there could also just be like goals around the house, like a conflict.
I'm in bed every single morning.
I was just exactly thinking that, like, go clean your room. And I remember like, I'm so tired of go clean your room and go clean the closet. So wanting to be ahead of the neg.
Yeah.
So like I remember like I'm gonna clean my room every week, and I'm somebody that just really enjoys a clean space anyways, so I can think better, I can create more. So there you go. Parents, families, helping your child set goals for the year. Start with communication, find out what matters to them, and then be expressive about what matters to you in your child, like helping your child set those goals.
And also, I mean, share your goals to them as well. I mean, that kind of gets them thinking about, okay, these are my parents' goals. Even just sharing that, I mean, it's kind of eye-opening to the child as well.
Oh yeah, Marlon, and like be real. Like for me right now, like we talked about childhood. Right now, I want to be as excited to get on a treadmill as I am to use the air fryer.
And for everyone listening, that was Jena's big. It was a gift, wasn't it? Was it a gift?
It was a gift to myself. I bought a little mini compact air fryer before the holidays, and I don't know how life was. I'm just, for me, the goal is to be as excited to get exercising as it is to what can I put in the air fryer next.
See, it's that anticipation. It gets you excited, right?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And the truth is, Marlon, my gym is open, but I hesitate a little bit. So just making time in the day to be sure I get out for a walk and do what I need to do.
Yeah.
So that I can keep using the air fryer.
How can we make up for the lost memories of the holidays? Our kids are still quite unhappy with the new announcement of the extensions. It seems it will never stop.
Okay. So lost memories is comparing something to perhaps something that happened the year before that didn't happen this year. And I promise you that even as a parent, if you feel like, I didn't quite like show up the way that I wanted to, or we didn't get to do all the things, there were still memories made this year. And it was a very exceptional time in history. So no matter what you did, your child will likely remember that, 2020 holidays, like that was during the pandemic, that was tricky times. And like, what's the word I'm looking for? Be forgiving to yourselves, be forgiving to what's happening. If your kids are unhappy, there's a lot of things that they may not have been able to do that they wanted to do. Just validating that, it wasn't our usual holidays. What can we do differently next year? What can we do differently today? With the extension in place, it seems it will never stop. Just as a side note, I ran into some neighbors in the hallway this morning, and I asked if they were moving out. I said, I hope you're not moving out. And they're like, no, we're just taking down our holiday decorations. And I'm like, oh, okay. I said, I'm leaving mine up until February. So for me, that's a way to extend that holiday feeling, like just to have those lights up brings a little bit of a joy to my day. And like, when you talk to your kids, lost memories, what can you do? Do you want to extend the holidays? Do you want to postpone something, schedule something you would have done for a time when it is safe? Like you can extend it. Your family, your choice.
Right. My boy is 11 and he has a constant fear of getting sick. How can we communicate to him that being worried doesn't help and that the odds of getting sick are low for children?
Okay. So the 11-year-old is worried about getting sick. As with the previous question, like validating them, just hearing what they're saying can reduce some of that, like that feeling that when we say something, we want to be heard. And when we feel heard, we can be closer to like, okay. Yeah. I'm worried about getting sick. Yeah. I hear you. There's a lot of people getting sick. The part about worrying doesn't help. There's a lot of anxiety for kids, and it's so great that this child is expressing it, because there's a lot of kids that aren't even expressing it and they're just quietly worried. So whether the odds are getting for getting sick are low for children, and higher for seniors, or whatever the situation is, I'd say focus on proactive. Like, what things can your boy do to help himself stay healthy? So wearing the mask, social distancing, talking about ways to be proactive versus talking about all the different ways you can get sick.
Mm.
And the fear is real. So as a parent, just understand that fear is real, and it probably just won't go away by itself. So making it okay for your 11-year-old to continue talking to you, drawing about it, writing about it, telling a story, allowing him to be the main character in a story about a child that gets sick. And what if you do get sick? What are the steps? What are the actions? What will we do as a family? So at least he then knows through story what would happen. So it's not an unknown if he did get sick.
Mm-hmm. It comes down to working it out with them. Scenarios, going through different scenarios, and really helping them establish almost an experience of what it would be like.
Yeah, that's a great summary of how to support your 11-year-old, your children, working it out with them, talking to them, helping them see how the scenarios would play out and what supports would be available if he was to get sick.
Yeah. Have you had, what's your level of anxiety in terms of getting sick? Or, yeah.
That's a good question, Marlon. I think on a day-to-day basis, I'm aware it's out there. And if I do go out, mask, distance, and frequent hand washing. I don't know, Marlon, like you don't think it's going to happen to you. I don't have and I think that's quite often the case. Like for anyone who has probably ended up with COVID, they didn't think it was going to happen. And until it happens, it's like, oh my gosh. So I would say that I'm taking all the precautions I can and being really diligent, and also sending reminders to my loved ones about, careful, wash your masks, do what you need to do, keep yourself safe, keep others around you safe. How about you,
Marlon? Pretty low, just because I know, like when at work and everything, there's lots of procedures in place, everyone's safe, and I'm not really I haven't really done anything, and I'm avoiding everything that would be around groups of people or anything like that. And you see people doing the opposite, but I think everyone's taking their own approach to it, and everyone's being taken their own way.
Yeah. Marlon, life, when I think about it, as you were talking, like life is so different now. Like going to the gym used to be a 3 to 4 times a week thing. Didn't think twice about it. Going to the grocery store, as frequently or when required, that all of that has changed. Meetings are all online. The interaction with people is like gone down to zero. So to each person out there during this time who's tuned in, listening, shared questions, thank you so much. Supporting children during, like even as adults, we have questions, we have confusion, we have anxiety. So helping children process that. Download your family care kit, available at calmversation.org. Thank you so much to the Canadian Red Cross for supporting our organization's efforts to make a difference for children and families and educators right now. It is 2021. And it's still very much a similar reality to what was 2020 so far.
But we're making 2021 a new year with new hopes.
Yes.
And new aspirations.
Absolutely. Be really intentional We've had time to get somewhat acclimatized to the pandemic reality. So let's be intentional about bringing some joy, calm connection into our lives and the lives of children.
Yeah, it's the perfect time.
So Marlon, what's your word for 2021?
My word for 2021 would be productivity, being more productive. I really want to take the time this year and all the extra time that we now have on our hands, because there's no activities, there's less going out, and really using that to build on the future. What about you? What's your word?
Hope. To have hope, to give hope, to be hope, to bring joy and understanding into people's lives.
Well, I think you're doing that right now.
Thank you, Marlon.
Your conversation and what we've done in the last 11 sessions has been, I know it's helped a lot of families and a lot of children and educators as well. So it's been a very positive outlook.
Wonderful. Thank you for that acknowledgement, Marlon. And now I invite those who tuned in or will tune in, please share with us in comments below what your word is for 2021.
And we'll see you, and we'll go over some of those words next Saturday for our final 12th session of these live Q&A series.
And we'll share some of the highlights of what we've accomplished with the Family Care Kit.
Amazing. Thank you, everyone, and enjoy your beautiful Saturday.
Thank you. Thank you, Marlon.